Hello, I'm Ian from Open for Theatre, and this is the first in a new series of videos where we talk to people from all areas of the arts about what it is they do and what it is they get up to. Joining us first is the wonderful Chris Harris Beechey, who first got involved with Open for Theatre when he was a member of the cast of our last production, which was called Stoolie. But Chris, you're primarily a voiceover artist, is that right?
Well, only in the last year, really. I've been doing the odd bits of acting, like different student films, different plays here and there for like 10 years. And then last year I just decided, hey, there's this whole voiceover thing as well. And I can do voices. I can do accents that are reliable.
What was it that made, what was it about voiceover acting that appealed to you, Chris? What made you take that jump of this is, because it's something that you kind of have to really build a setup for yourself to kind of get going with. What made you sort of go, this is the road that I think I want to go down? Well,
it was after I got an initial reel put up, because it was just kind of a whim. It was, I had left over at the end of the month, I had a little bit of cash knocking about, and I went, hey, I've been thinking about doing this voiceover thing for a while. Let's do it. So I paid some people to put up a preliminary reel, which helped me get a bit of an idea about it. Then I bought a cheap bad mic and was still able to get a couple of jobs and projects using that. But then from having a little bit of early success with that, including one of the first jobs I got is still the best job I've ever had, where I was flown out to France to do some recording for the Museum of Modern Art, Paris. And that was amazing. And it was the first big voice job I ever got. That was
going to be my next question. So if someone wants to start out as a voiceover actor, where is the place to start? Are there websites you can sign up to? How do you kind of find work, really?
Honestly, there's loads. But I can say the ones that I've had success with, where I've had a couple of bits of success on castingcall.club. So castingcall.club is amazing for just getting a wide range of different opportunities to try, because a lot of them might not be paid or won't be paid very well, but they've got a lot more variety. And if you're just starting out, they're also a lot more beginner friendly than a lot of other sites might be.
Yeah, I guess if you're starting up, especially if you're new to working with the equipment, it doesn't hurt to just go through the motions of auditioning, creating work.
Absolutely.
Always get better than that.
And just trying different, one of the most useful things I've found is just trying for different things, auditioning for different projects, trying all the different types of ones which are out there, because it helps you understand your voice better and be able to play with your range a little bit, necessarily more than you might have been able to do before you did that.
Because it's interesting, there's two main sort of types of voiceover work, aren't there? In the sense of there's a commercial side and then there's a more artistic character side. So what's the kind of difference?
It really breaks down even more than that, because there's also narration, which is a similar but separate section to it, because that's a different type of voice to corporate. And even within corporate, a training video is different from an advertisement. There's so many little subcategories.
So what kind of tips would you give to someone in terms of the specifics of the acting style? I suppose there must, you say, obviously there's a lot of being able to act when you come to voiceover acting is very helpful. Yeah. But what about what kind of things do you really need to think about that you might not need to think about if you were doing a stage or a film?
It's being expected more than any of those to be able to read something like you're speaking it, because with both theatre and film, you're expected to know what you're saying. Unless you're a host on a TV show, you don't have a teleprompter to do it. So you need to be able to, more than any of those, give a good performance from reading it straight off the page, which can be difficult. I always find myself reading 2 or 3 lines ahead while I'm doing it. So I'm saying one thing, emoting one way, but reading the lines a couple ahead to make sure that the syntax of what I'm saying connects, if that's the right word.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So just going back to the sort of setup you have, and what would you advise someone to sort of get? What are the most important pieces of equipment to have?
So the first thing is to sort out some good recording software, because you can have the nicest mic in the world, but if you don't have anything to put it into, then you're shit out of luck. And I've got a Rode mic that's plugged into a audio interface. I've got some monitor speakers because you want to be able to measure your audio and edit it. You want to have a flat response.
And the other kind of thing I think that people think about is accents.
Part of the reason I think I've had a little bit more success than a lot of people have in their first year of doing voice work is because I can cast a wide net.
Yeah.
As I can audition for a lot of different things with accents. It's mostly a variety of American accents, which is what I've really settled into more than anything. Like, I've actually overall been paid to do more American accents than to actually talk like myself or even do any kind of British accents.
What would your advice be to someone of like, okay, I've not done a Finnish accent before. I've not done a Scandinavian accent. Like where to start?
Cool. So anytime I've had to try and learn a new accent in any way or need to try and get one down, I start by figuring out kind of the shape of it, because that's something that I definitely noticed. I do it purposely. That, or for example, if I'm going to now talk in an Australian accent, if you notice, the actual way that my mouth's moving is completely different to the way that it was before, because I'm guiding the sound in like a completely different way through my mouth, especially compared to how I normally talk.
And I guess it's the kind of thing that you can keep adding to your arsenal, I guess. Like once you've got one and you're confident with it, you can try something else and like really move sort of forward with it. But like, what would be your top sort of tip to someone? They're starting out, they think, right, I really like the sound of voiceover acting, I want to get involved. What's the kind of one bit of advice you'd give them?
First main bit of advice, go to an improv class or do some kind of acting thing. An improv class just probably having I suppose the most easy to access for a lot of people if they were going to join one of those. Just something to actually practice saying words that you're not thinking of more than anything. Because that's what they've got to get down. And being able to improvise is always a good thing as well.
Yeah. And so where can people find out about you? Have you got a website? You're on all the social media?
I do. Social media I need to be better at using, but I do have one. Best place to follow me is most likely CHB Voices on either Insta or Twitter. And that's also my website, www.chbvoices.com.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. I hope that's useful to people that might be interested in trying voiceover acting.
Hopefully so, my man.
Thank you so much. So that was the world of voiceover according to Chris Harris Beechey. Like I said at the start, we hope this to be a first in a new series of videos where we talk to a range of different artists about what they do and what they get up to. So please do leave us some feedback. And if you don't already, follow Open Theatre on all the social media platforms. I'm sure we'll be posting around all the things that Chris has mentioned in this, in terms of software and equipment and places where you can find out all this information. I've been Ian from Open Theatre, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye-bye.